Hey, balance seekers. Have you ever felt just a little bit off? Like you're carrying a lot of weight on your shoulders? Or like your body just doesn't feel like your own anymore? Something feels different. What if I told you that in the next 15 minutes, you could discover a feeling of effortless lightness? A sensation where your center of gravity hovers perfectly over your base of support. I'm about to show you 3 simple Discover Balance resets that will transform how you sit, stand, and walk through your day. Stay with me. This is going to be a game changer. The skeletal stacking resets are what every patient who comes into the Perfect Balance Physical Therapy office learns. It is the foundation of every musculoskeletal dysfunction, because your body is overworked and underpaid when it's not aligned. Not to mention the signals of danger. Yeah, it is not in the healing zone. That's what I'm saying. I've spent years studying how our bodies are brilliantly designed to move as hunter-gatherers upright with ease and grace. But here's the thing. We didn't get an owner's manual. We've become the roly-poly generation, collapsing into our phones and computers for hours on end. Our bodies are paying the price, keeping the score, as they say. Today, we're going to dive into what these skeletal stack it resets actually are. What it is a revolutionary approach that will completely transform your relationship with your own body, as it has for my patients for over 3 decades. It's not complicated exercises or equipment to hold your shoulders up or head up. No, they're simple, powerful techniques that help you reclaim your natural alignment and find your flow. Flow of energy, flow of blood, flow of everything. I'll show you exactly why your body feels off. I'll teach you the science of optimal alignment, the kind that the upright ancestors used all the time, and so it worked. But now we are sitting, and so our body wants to find balance at all times. But if we're not upright, there's the toggle back and forth of the anterior muscles, the posterior muscles. Let's talk about what's really happening in your body right now. Picture this. Your body is a magnificent living skyscraper. Every bone, every joint and curve engineered to bear weight and flow with effortless grace. But this hunched forward position we've all adopted, it's more than just bad posture. It's a habitual collapse that's literally choking your nervous system and your organs, for that matter. It shortens the muscles and fascia. It literally compresses your lungs and your organs. Therefore, it restricts your breathing and creates what I call an energy traffic jam in your body. Try this right now. Slouch in your chair, you probably already are, and try to lift your arms overhead in either direction. Feel that restriction, that heaviness, that pinching? That's your foundation completely compromised and a pivot joint not aligned. But here's what we didn't realize before. Research shows that poor posture actually triggers stress responses, that fight or flight, that red zone in your body. When your skeleton is out of alignment, it's not safe. According to your body, it creates a cascade of problems throughout your entire nervous system and endocrine system. The pain in your wrist, the tension in your neck, the ache in your back, they're all related to your alignment, okay? They're all connected to how you're stacking your skeleton. Not to mention the impact that it has on that fascia, which is the source of our pain, because it's always fighting with those muscles to hold us together, those stretch receptors never getting a break. Our perfect alignment, if we allow for it, is our default setting. We just have to find it again. The secret is learning the Discover Balance Stack It. I want you to imagine your skeleton like a stack of Lego blocks. Yeah, you know, the kind that click into place and stay there? Or better yet, like a magnificent oak tree, connected to the earth with roots drinking, rising with strength, like my tree. Yeah, your bones aren't meant to rely on just stiff strut system. They're living, breathing architecture that changes the forces throughout your body like rivers of pure energy. It's mechanics, it's biomechanics, it's physics. When they're perfectly aligned, they're truly stacked, and all the joints and the whole structure moves easily without extra effort, and it's stable. Gravity actually becomes your ally. Yeah, because you're stacked and it's not pushing you anywhere. When you're not stacked, you have to fight it to stay upright. You're like this, you have to lift it up, hyperextend at the neck so your eyes are forward. Okay, gravity's not your enemy. It's giving you clues as to when you're stacked. I want you to think about what I call that kerplunk position. It's like that satisfying position that we know we're in place. That's what I call it. It's the exact moment when everything just clicks, and it's when your hips achieve full extension. Your shoulder blades retract and squeeze together, and your elbows nestle closer towards your ribs, creating the perfect foundation for effortless stacking of your shoulders, head, and spine directly over your center, just like Mr. Bones here. Ear, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle. Beautifully aligned, okay? Now, when you have your hips aligned just right, level, you have a stable base for everything to stack up upon, okay? When the hips achieve full extension, they do create a nice level surface, whether you're sitting or standing, and see how the sacrum and the spine can sit well, and then the ribs can sit well. Now, if you realize that you're not quite in this position, I'm going to show you something amazing that's going to help you out, help you understand. I put this red TheraBand on Mr. Bones. It's the psoas muscle, spelled P-S-O-A-S. You may never have heard of it, or definitely not known how to spell it, but it's truly the only muscle that majorly connects the top and bottom of our body together. That's a big job. Now, our psoas attaches to the lowest thoracic vertebrae, where the rib comes in, every single lumbar vertebrae. It adheres to the anterior part of the iliac crest like a bowl, goes across the SI joint, through over the pubic bone, through the groin, and attaches to the femur. That is quite a journey. The psoas muscle is buried so deep within the guts and the muscles that it's pretty tricky to access. But if you know where it is, you can work with intention with the balanced ball sacks and get into it and understand how that mysterious muscle lives and works. Think of the psoas as the bass line in your body's symphony. When this sucker is off, it sends tons of referred pain. Place your hands on your lower ribs like this, okay? Now lift one knee. Feel that? Feel that contraction, that deep pulling sensation? That is your deep muscles and your psoas contracting, your stabilizers. Now, when we're not aligned, this poor guy is fighting. We have the anterior muscles, the posterior muscles working back and forth, because our body naturally wants to stack, okay? When we have referred pain, remember the fascia is like a vacuum-packed covering over all of our structure. So our organs are actually embedded in the same structure, sheets of fascia, that our muscles are. This psoas muscle, because it's in the hips, this holds emotional memory, and it works really hard. Now, the secret to a good stack is finding your neutral level pelvis position, okay? Imagine that pelvis has a bowl of water, all right? And you want it perfectly level, not tilted too far forward or backwards, because you don't want to spill anything. This neutral position is the ticket. It's absolutely foundational to being able to support your sacrum at the right angle and all the lumbar vertebrae above it. Remembering that the thoracic vertebrae attach to the ribs, and this barrel here has everything to do with your head and neck position, your shoulder function. I want you to do some corrections with me, some stack it resets. Don't just watch. Please allow yourself to participate because you need to feel it. That's how you're going to find it. Your body will thank you. Let's start in the standing position at the foundation of your feet. Stand up. Feel your feet pressing into the earth. Really feel it. Feel the front of your foot, the back of your foot, the outside of your foot, the inside of your foot, and then just set the foot down in the middle, okay? Now, what you're feeling above it is your body stacking. That kerplunk position that I was talking about has to do with the pelvic position, okay? We're naturally flexed like this. So we are going to set our feet on the earth, bring our chest up, tuck our pelvis back, and there you go. Now, when you're here, you want to lift your pelvic floor. What does that mean? It's like you want to bring an elevator up from the bottom floor up to the first floor. Pretend you're pulling energy through the bottom of your feet from Mother Earth. This lift supports your spine from deep within, creating the base from your stack. It kind of feels like you're trying to hold in a gas. Seriously. Here's the real game changer, okay? Every time you stand up, you should reset yourself. It's a golden opportunity to teach your body to rewire yourself how to align. Watch me do this. I'll come up from sitting. I'm going to push my hips forward until they're completely open, aligning them directly underneath my torso. And then I'm going to tuck my pelvis a little bit, lift my chest, and boom chakalaka. Now, if you're sitting, it's a little bit different, okay? Think of coming to the very edge of your seat, okay? And you let your feet widen. I like to put the bottom of my feet together in this butterfly position. That external rotation in the hips lets the pelvis tilt forward, okay? And then you can just set your feet where you like it. And you'll feel, maybe close your eyes, that your spine and head is just hanging out there, not working. You're not working to bring your head back or your shoulders back. This is where the body truly stacks up. And when you're in standing, it's all about this hip position. So if you've ever done a deadlift, hip flexion, hip extension. That's where your kerplunk position is. You're lifting your pelvic floor. Do you see how my whole spine lifts when I do that? And that's lifting up, holding in my flatulence. It's actually easy peasy, isn't it? Now breathe into it. With your skeleton stack, your lungs have room to expand. Your shoulders drop and release. Even your jaw softens. Just stay here for a moment. Breathe. Can you feel how much less effort it requires? I know it feels awkward because it's different. But if you restack yourself every time you stand and every time you sit, that'll be the way you be. Now, confidence comes through in posture. Who doesn't feel more confident when they're upright? All right? When we stand and come to walk forward, that's the next thing. Pretend you have a string from your belly button. You're doing your tucking under, you're standing up, and you're keeping yourself upright. You're not getting excited with the first step and coming forward and then throwing that next foot forward. I know I'm exaggerating, but truly, we learned in PT school the proper gait is heel to toe with the push off. But we didn't learn to take gargantuan steps, okay? So when we're walking, we want to take a step that's as big as we're intended to. Lift your foot and put it down. I know that looks like a tiny step, but if I go any further, it's very off balance. So I'm tucking under, I'm upright, I'm picking my foot up, I'm putting it down. Now I have to shift my weight through the pelvis until I unweight the other one. And look, I just lift it here. So the ticket is a smaller step, all right? A smaller step and leading with your center of gravity and letting it hover over your feet. Let's review one last time. Our sitting stack, okay? You lean or scooch forward to the edge of your seat. You should not be leaning back on a seat, especially when you're working, okay? Did you ever see that trend of people sitting on big exercise ball, the Bosey balls, while they work? That's because it puts you in this position. We kind of fool the psoas into letting us come forward. Then your hip flexors can't sabotage your alignment when you outsmart them with positioning. So here we are. Our sit bones are hooked. We're going to lift the pelvic floor to support your core. And look how effortless this is. You're open without puffing the chest out. Let the shoulder blades rest against your rib cage, and feel the floating head. Your eyes should be at the middle of a computer screen, and your hands should be right at keyboard level. That means you can't work off a laptop for too long, okay? You need to either get an extra monitor or an extra keyboard. Here's the collapse position. Try lifting your arm in this position. And here, zoop, is the stacked position. Now look, feel that difference? I didn't do anything different except for change the alignment of my pelvis. The deal is that 75% of your arm elevation comes from the shoulder blade rotating up. So we get 40-ish degrees here at this glenohumeral joint, and the remainder of that motion depends on the shoulder blade rotating. Now it needs freedom of motion. When we're in the forward protracted position, not happening. And that's where we get this not rotating and the structures I put a pen here representing the supraspinatus tendon, but a lot of structures get folded up and pinched and we can't move. So once we are level here, and if we're standing, it starts from the feet and the hip flexors and coming all the way up to let our shoulder blades sit in a biomechanically correct way. You got it? I think you do. So go out, stack yourself, find your center of gravity, learn to feel it. If you practice it every time you stand up, every time you walk, every time you sit, you're bound to learn it, because those are the positions that we're in. And even when you're sleeping, align yourself as well as you can with pillows and supports, okay? You've got this, balance seekers. Stack It Resets are the bomb. You can control the position your skeleton is in and become more efficient and stop the constant battle between your soft tissue and muscles trying to hold you upright. It's too big a job. It should be easier. It's a good design. Let's get back to it. All you have to do is provide the foundation for it, and you're in.